knows me, then they know that in 2005 I talked a lot about this near-death experience, and one of the words that I kept on repeating in the stories, because I'd repeat this same story. I never repeat anything else because it's illegal. Not supposed to tell the same thing twice. It just sounds like the song starts to sound desperate. If I just, But these later ones, like, I've been really trying to put myself in the other person's shoes. It's not really about what I want. Especially those ultra dirty ones that sound like Sir Mix-a-Lot. I know when I was younger, I digged that because there was nothing around that sounded like this. Like, there wasn't 15 artists talking and using the words actual dick, using words like actual pussy. And yeah, that offends a lot of people, but if it offends you, the song wasn't made for you. Me as a creator, I've dealt with burnout. I understand burnout. And burnout is only if you find no escape. I don't have no writer's block. I don't never suffer. All we got to do is try, and it just works. Don't sure how I understand it, but people who don't know me really don't care about my personal life. They just want to hear a song that is perverted as shit, like I did when I was young. And I just thought it was automatically cool because it was the only song that I heard use that type of language. But that's the magic about believing. I do much better off when people don't know me, because the people who do know me get real confused. We at Hollywood, Think about it like this. I write audiobooks and I implemented video. I'm making rough drafts because I broke my hand years ago. That took me away from poetry. I got books that I don't read. I almost don't care to read because I've changed so much and the whole writing style has gotten above and beyond. I used to hate my life. Now it's not too bad, as long as we keep on working for the goal, the I'm possible goal of 300 albums. It's big enough that it will always keep me away from the demons. It'll always keep me away from sabotage. And the more time I let my mind wander, is usually bad news for everyone. That's just from my experience. So I decided, after I finished the 200 practice CDs, just tryouts, basically, not many rules, and working on vocal style, listening, made changes, like, yeah, I like that, we need to raise our voice here. And I used to take notes, not really about my vocals, but like preparations. like eat fruit the whole day. Before you do it, don't watch anything disturbing like CNN TV that could corrupt your short-term memory. So I didn't watch anything for, a few days, 2 days, and then I turned on Pandora and only listened to my inspirations. I should do that again, but I don't. Because really it's illegal. And I don't really be jamming out like that alone. I really don't. I mean, if it's not myself, unless I'm having sex with my wife, we're listening to sex music on Pandora. But even my old playlist on Pandora, I don't go there anymore. So I stopped following who I thought was cool. When I first heard this fast rapping, it became a challenge because as long as every word rhymed, in my head at the time, that was the point of practice. And like here we got 40 minutes left. When we started giving ourselves rules, like when I didn't give myself this minimum 4 hours of recording and then a maximum, I could sometimes be in the studio, not anymore, for 16-hour days. And let me tell you that those 16-hour days really are something else. But it's very hard on your body. Probably age a lot when you do stuff like that, because you're, improv, freestyle, acting for the camera, having upper management sort of like rules or guidelines coming in with, smoke a lot, sort of a title I gave myself. I must obey myself. And for the longest, even with the back surgeries and the problems that have been there, that is the greatest teacher of all. Definitely no pain, no gain. If I didn't go through that misery, then these days would be filled with nothing. I either was like, one day I think that started it all. I was like, because it was after my surgery, fresh, and I wanted to be a writer or even use natural dragon speaking to write books and sad-ass poetry and do stuff like that. So that was in 2010. We've come a long ways in 9 years. When basically all 9 has been I want to say alone with my wife, because you are battling something so much bigger and defeating, and it takes up so much of your energy that you got nothing to give back, and then you're thrown into this world of what am I going to do because my hand hurts, it ain't working right, so what are we going to do? And This was before music and everything. So it's like sitting on the couch, like thinking of what to do next before I had any of this stuff. The only thing I had was this that I brought with me. Yamaha QY100. So I had passion there. I didn't give it up. But I wasn't living. It was this, there as a backup sitting in the closet. And I never put it effect when I could have. So music was, I guess, one of the options at that time that I thought, maybe I could do this. And we went for it. So I decided, it's like, is this who I am now? And everyone thinks it's a hobby. People still calling me for computer repair. People still calling me to fix their computer over the phone. And I alienated a huge community. If anyone has reasons to be pissed off at me, it's because I just left. And after the surgeries, I forgot everything of where I came from, because this back pain and surgery was like a baby. I had to take care of it because it was inside of me, and there was no one here for I'd say for sure the first 4 years. And it got hard to even eat, so I had to eat high calorie food. I got some videos here of me making French fries, and that's probably okay to eat if that's all you eat one time a day, because your body hurts too much, almost like my foot. Like, it was a job a few days ago to go to the bathroom. And that took a lot of work. I'm like, damn, I thought my back was difficult. I can't sit right because it feels like, I injure myself. But it's because I'm not taking my vitamins, children. Always take your vitamins, drink your water. And chances of you having spine issues will be lower, because you won't dry out your body, and then it'll be like bone to bone, and you just gotta take care of it, because it's all you got. Or you're going to live and your body poops out. So life is what you make of it. And so I started watching a bunch of documentaries. Like, before that, we were watching CNN, Fox, before I was really like, what am I going to do with myself now? And then that, at that time, I was buying more equipment, but I didn't have near as much as I have now. But much of it is dated, and I don't use it because it makes noise. Or I sold much of the good stuff because I like to stay minimal. Like when all you are reminded of pain. And like, I still want to do stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've learned to work with the pain. Just because I feel pain doesn't mean I want to go out. Just because I'm in pain doesn't mean I don't want to go out on a date with you, because this is my reality, and I do want to go out on a date with you every single day of the week. And the perception, it's like, yeah, it's hard to live here. But I'm looking for better times. And even when they start taking out this hardware. So I delayed my appointment because I injured myself. So we're gonna start the process of having one of my hardwares taken out, which is causing this liver feeling. I narrowed it down. At first I didn't know what I was working with, but when all you got is yourself, and damn, did I do all this to myself? Did I do all this to everyone else? Did I really do that to my ex-wife? Did I really, throw everything away? And, you just forget because you're in so much pain every day that you're just trying to, right? You're looking for the next day. So you forget. When you're running for the juicy ice cream truck, you forget all your problems at the moment. When you're thinking about going to the liquor store to pick up a bottle, all your problems disappear because you find hope, you find escape, you find something in that is more enjoyable than whatever you're dealing with at the moment. And that's the kind of mindset that I've had for many, many years. And, I am happy. I may not show it on the outside, but it's mind over matter. There's many reasons why my facial doesn't match up with my emotions. Because when I was young, they put me on Prolixin decanoids. It was an injectable drug. I chose it. And it was for schizophrenia that I never believed I had. However, I understand why they gave me that diagnosis when I saw the doctor, because I was rude, I was out of character. I saw him for maybe 20 minutes, and it's probably one of the moments where I should have just played the part. Because when I get myself into this actor mode, in this mindset, now later in years, I've figured out that it's how you control your emotions that really defines your destiny. The way how every time I walk down the street, yeah, I'm in pain, but I don't want to look like I'm in pain. I'm not searching for pity. In a way, it's like I shouldn't have been on those drugs in the first place, but I understand why I was, because I gave the first doctor a horrible time. And, doctors shouldn't judge you when you're young like that, and then give you such diagnosis that sticks with you for, not forever, but whenever you decide to stop talking about it, then that's when it ends. Until then, everyone's gonna know, everyone's gonna treat you like you some crazy dude, when the whole thing's just been a misdiagnosis from the start. And that was the road I traveled, and I was on those meds and others like that for 7 years. And those drugs turn things off or turn things on. They do help and work for some people. Like right now, I'm on antidepressants, and I think this is what antidepressants really should be used for. I'm gonna give you my real life example. Living with my back pain, once this goes away, then I gotta deal with my back pain. It's funny how the mind works, but it's telling you that there is something wrong. And it doesn't matter what it is, it's just taking up your time at the moment. so it becomes irrelevant on what it is. Problem here is your brain is receiving check engine light so bad that it's, there's x-rays that, this, and everything checks out. So you got to be put on like this kind of dilaudid stuff to function. Hell yeah, because it makes you depressed. Like when all you feel is your broken arm pain, when all you feel is your stubbed toe pain, when all you feel is you can do it but you can't because of like something physical, something is physically wrong here, and they're like, yeah, right, whatever. These x-rays look beautiful. There ain't nothing wrong here. And it's like, yo, this ain't going nowhere. And it's like, just because you can't see it and shit doesn't mean it's there. I mean, if you look for 15 seconds, you see what kind of torture this guy goes through. And if you look at long enough, you'll notice behaviors that you were trained to see. We live in a fast-paced world, man. I was rooting for hope that this pain would get better, but I finally determined it's gotta be the hardware. 1 month after my second surgical hardware, so I'll still have the first one, but they're gonna take out the second one, the claw, the stabilizer, because there was no bone in the first one, and I was wiggling back and forth basically, so it was causing more problems from my own dumbass taking meloxicam, do it from some major spine operation. Total no. I didn't know at the time, but when I finally knew, I didn't point the finger, I just accepted that's the way it is, that's the way it was. Oops. It was purely an accident, and because I didn't follow the directions, or nobody told me I wasn't supposed to be on this, but I was, because my body inflames a lot. And meloxicam don't even work now for my inflammation. So my overimmune system is flooding my entire body with, they call them what? T cells. And, but let me get back to that story about mental health that I was part of until 28. So I took this injection every 2 weeks because I thought it was easier. I'm like, damn, if I gotta be on these anyway, do they have anything where I don't gotta shove pills on my mouth every day? Because after a while, that stuff tastes gross. I just didn't like it. People already condemn me for being trained crazy. People even know what it was, but the name itself is scary enough to treat you different. Even if you didn't have it, right? Oh, I was probably hated where I was at the moment, so I was saying anything. Who knows what I really said, but what I said shocked the doctor, and whether the doctor had to come in for an emergency visit, he probably, brought in by police, he probably wasn't going to write a good report. And so, So anyway, that medicine, Prolixin, Prolixin, the canoids, is an injectable isotropic medication that turn things off. So maybe I wasn't feeling things very well, but they were turned off for at least 7 years. And if you think how a brain works, how muscles work, if you don't use them, you'll lose them. And I think that's a real possibility here, where your DNA starts to change and your body becomes normal. Just like earlier tonight, we made a song about you can push yourself in a mode of starvation and be in denial. I starved myself for a while and got myself sick looking. It was disgusting. See my cheekbones and 150. I used to say 150 was my lowest weight, and now I'm about 200. Because I remember when I got to 150, like I was malnourished, couldn't think straight, and then have a like close to death, near death, have a trip and let it be believable, and run it over and talk about it, same thing almost word for word every time. Can't do that about anything else. It's like, yo, there's something there. Even if I want to deny it, I gotta see it every damn day. And I don't know what it is. It was my head dreaming, and it was dreaming so hard that I got pushed into the realm. I don't know, but I woke up different, whether they can find something or not. So I had body abuse and take very good care of myself. And I was just reckless. Very reckless. All before 2005. And then it all stopped. It all changed from that moment. Everything. I didn't know it at the time, but I was on a journey. So when I sprained my ankle and hurt my rib, I don't look at it like, damn you. I accept it already happened. And if I go to bed tonight and sprain my other ankle somehow, I got no one else to blame but myself. And since I'm all about figuring out a solution, so my brain thinks like interdisciplinary. It's probably the number one word that jumps out. It's really been the focus. So my brain is a thought pattern. Interdisciplinary. And it can get fascinating. And then if you believe essays and descriptions that describe a word so well, you might believe it. And that's why we people got emotions. When we act a certain way, there's no way to prove it. Like people with bipolar. Bipolar is a description, and it got blacklisted. Is not a good thing. Sometimes bipolar is great. Come in here acting bipolar, I'll lock you in here and give you the microphone for a bit, and I promise you, once you learn how to work yourself and the microphone and everything else in here, it's like it's the greatest life alive. But until you know how to drive, you may not learn. So, my road of travel after that day, probably the biggest things that changed was, I don't feel like I'm addicted to anything. Nothing, I could stop weed tomorrow and smoke real hookah material. And I may have a nicotine habit now, but it might work to get my mind off of it. And it's all about what I can tolerate to get my mind off of it. Because I truly am a happy person inside. I just had some incidences over the years that I don't allow to define me. And that's why I'm weird about you, because you didn't know who I was until I told you who the hell I was. Before all that, you were cracking jokes like, damn, this guy's lame. What's he doing in chat all day? This guy's lame. You know, look, he's got a show, but no one watches. I don't know. Let's see now after I changed my name to a name that people can actually find anywhere. So let's just see once I change these 15 albums over the next year to make up for my year and a half mistake back to love Justin Perry. Let's just see, if I'm really that shitty. I don't know, but looking at it from the report, upper management would love me to do such a thing. So you can see the future happening on Twitter. That's where I post these little things at. Twitter.com/CWSPOD. And I probably won't post the videos. I'm gonna post the playlist. Very big, so I don't want to annoy you. Got to keep an eye on everything, because very easily stuff can go wrong, and your notifications so I got to make sure everything's working, I got to be strict about myself, because otherwise, if I make a mistake, it hurts me. And even a stupid mistake, like a shaky internet connection, where then it's just posting a bunch of videos on the Twitter account, says, hey, look who's live, look who's live, look who's live, look who's live, look who's live. And, I ain't know it for 8 freaking hours. And so, every 8 seconds you're being reminded, be like, hey, look who's live, look who's live, look who's live. And then I gotta go back there. This actually happened to me once. And I'm lucky I only lost 2 subscribers. But to a certain point, you do have to know what you're doing. I'm just glad I can do with what I got. I'm glad I can do the albums I already got, even though I didn't count them, but there's over 10 costly mistakes there. That is costing me money. It's costing my wife money every day, homie. So this is all I think about. And her. I mean, she's kind of all I think about. And then this, music became a proxy of that. So I got the desire to work for proxy. Because without her, probably wouldn't do all this, right? That's what a proxy is. Proxy is making a cake. You got a whole cake, and then you give it to the next. You hand your cake off, and the cake gets broken up, and now the cake has something else in it, It could be chocolate chips, healthy chocolate chips. But they're still brownies from the same source. Still delicious. Still's got the same information. That was so good. Regardless if the chocolate chips were in there or not. So when you get the end result of your brownies, you don't know. That's kind of what a proxy is. So if all I think about is my wife and she's the reason why I study so hard on my iPad and it annoys her, you know, at first she was like, who you talking to? Who you talking to? You know, at first she was like, yo, you cheating on me, right? And at first I guess it was hard for me to be on my iPad. Just like at first it was hard to see her on her phone all the time, but we truly are trapped in our own worlds. And we come back to each other. We got different worlds. We both bring great things to the marriage. And I like being different, and I believe she knows that. And we work well despite how different we are, you know, and like for a while she thought I hated religion, and you could easily get that impression because just like, you know, pussy dick, how many people really say stuff like that? Whether if it's true or not, or whether I believe it, the fact that I even said stuff that vulgar about religion can put a permanent curse on your forehead very easy. Whether you mean it or not. I mean, I directed that at myself. But then, you know, I started telling stories about the second chance, and then, you know, Wadri. We ain't done rapping yet, so when I had my experience, I was compelled to say, you know, my alter egos, we ain't done rapping yet, and it took me 8 years. It spells Wadri. So that is a connection that I didn't have for 8 years. So coming on the 9, you know, I not believe in this character like we're best friends, but it's just a hypothetical. Like, it did happen, but it only adds on to the story. That kind of thing. It's like, wow, 8 years later, and we're able to figure stuff out a bit more just by daydreaming. So now I'm like, huh, you know, that's pretty cool. So that's when we developed an alter ego called Wadri, because it was like, huh, makes sense. We ain't doing rapping yet. Wadri. And then after I said those words, I was like, life is here, but I was changed. Like, I was on a journey. You turn on your computer, and we ain't done rapping yet is the brand, is the boot code, and then you load your code underneath we ain't done underneath Wadri. So after I thought about it like that, it became fun. You know, it became like, well, what else can I learn? So I respect the whole thing over a silly we ain't done rapping yet sounds like Wadri. And what is Wadri? It's a voice character. And somehow, you know, there's that added connection. I was like, yeah, you know, so it's more authentic. It's more funny. I wouldn't say funny, but it adds texture. and it all makes sense. Maybe not to you, but you're living your own make sense life. So does my cat. So does, this machine. It's all about making sense. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm 15 minutes late. I made it to my goal, man. 4 hours. I'm gonna go rest. Probably won't be here for a few days. Still trying to rest my body. Take vitamins. And I'm not trying to look like I just fell down fresh steps. I'm gonna get a little high before I go. I guess maybe tonight will be. I'm gonna watch more on Apollo. So I go on YouTube. This is what I'm currently into at the moment. Today, just like the other day, or when I told you, when I was like, what am I gonna do with my time at the moment? Because I'm just sitting here in bed for 6 months waiting for my spine to heal. What the hell am I gonna do? Sort of like, what am I going to do with myself? And, because I couldn't do anything. That's when I decided to watch YouTube videos. And that's when my second life programming, I think that's what it was needing. Even if I, started watching a bunch of documentary movies right after my incident, it wouldn't have been the right time to play all that. And, re-brainwash me. Can't erase something once you see it, no matter what you believe. And I liked that thought, and I saw change, and then I wanted to watch stuff that would change my life forever. So I started watching surgeries, even though blood makes me weak to the stomach. I started watching a lot of videos on Heavy R website. That's like a website for total sickos. But they got an area there, but you gotta find it. It's not hard to see. Or Heavy D, Heavy R. Put those in. I haven't looked at it for a while, but... And some of those are like snuff videos, basically. Some of them are fake, some of them are real, some of them are made to look like they're real. Some of them you just can't tell. Really. And then you got comments underneath like, yo, that's definitely faked. And this is the same site where I told you guys, like, where you like see people getting raped and then shot. And then you left there wondering, like, what the hell did I just watch? And then you see some crazy stuff, people's heads explodes. Like stuff you don't see on ever. This is the first time I'm filling my brain up with this stuff. And I don't know if I was trying to punish myself. But either way, whether it was good or bad, I recognized change and I forced myself to watch all of that. I'm glad I did. I don't need to see it every day. Once is enough to realize that there are more realities. I like to say reality lies in perception. If I could give you guys any quote before I left, it's probably the best lines I ever came up with. Reality lies in perception. That's a double meaning to it. It's like, are you being honest, or where are you laying down?